Hi everyone, Adrian here, welcome to Wild Bush and Grit. Today we are disassembling and reassembling a legendary Browning BAR Mk2. I'll start with removing the detachable box magazine from the floor plate, and we will remove the swivel stud. At this point, the forend is loose but not free yet. You need to pull the bolt back all the way before you can slide out the forend. Do not force it because it may crack. The bolt release is held in place by a spring and a pin. We will first remove the pin, then with a tiny screwdriver lift up the spring and you can slide out the bolt release. With the bolt release out of the way, it's now easy to remove the slide bar. You have two, one on each side. The following requires a little bit of dexterity and strength. We'll first remove the slide head. Be careful because there are two loaded spring inside of it, so you need to be careful when you pull it off so you don't send them flying into the room. Here I'm using a 17mm to hold the barrel and the gas block, and a wrench. This is a 11/16, but I think the proper size is 5/8 to loosen up the gas cylinder cap and the gasket in place. Alright, let's do some gymnastic here. With my left hand, I will grab the buffer plates in one. I will slightly compress the spring and I will hold the spring guide. I will push the spring guide out of the gas block. The gas piston will fall over. And then I will slowly depress the spring out of the gas block itself. And the inertia piece should come with it. So here you have the rear buffer plate, you have the actual buffer, and you have the front buffer plate. The trigger group is easy to remove. You only have two pins to push out. And it should slide out without any issues. From here, we can start working on the bolt. The first thing we need to remove is the operating handle to clear out the bolt out of the receiver. You need first to extend the bolt as far as it can go. And you also need to put the bolt cover in the proper place to allow some clearance to be able to remove the operating handle. I will do it and I will give you a closer view because it's very difficult to film this area. So I'll remove the bolt and I'll show you exactly what I did. There's a little tab that you need to lift up with the screwdriver, and when that tab is lifted, then you can push the operating handle forward. So here this is the bolt cover, and here you need to extend the bolt as far as it goes. Push the bolt cover so you can clear the actual release of the operating handle. Now you have that little tab at the very front of the operating handle. You lift it up and you push the operating handle out of its rails. that's the little tab that you need to lift up. And to put it back, there is nothing special. You just click it back into place. Yep. But let's go on and disassembling that bolt. To slide the bolt out of the receiver, you need to keep the bolt extended and rotate that bolt 90 degrees clockwise. That's the only way for you to be able to lift the bolt out of the receiver. There you go. So the bolt has that bolt cover. You can simply lift it up. And to remove the firing pin, there is a little retaining pin here that you need to tap out. It's probably the tiniest firearm part I've ever seen. And be careful when you're putting that tiny pin back in, because you want the bolt to move freely inside that carrier, and you also want to make sure that the firing pin, when you're pressing on it, is actually protruding at the bolt face. And to remove the bolt, you just need to push that pin out, and voila. You can continue the disassembly. There is only a little tab here that you can remove. It's being held by another pin. You just tap it out. So putting the whole bolt assembly back, you need to put the bolt in the right direction. There is two possible ways. One is wrong, one is right. This is a wrong way, with the ejector plunger on the right hand side. And this is the right way, with extractor on the right hand side and the ejector plunger on the left side. And you can continue reassembling the bolts in the reverse order. So the cam pin bar to hold the actual bolt. The firing pin goes through the cam pin bar. Don't forget the spring. And when pushed, make sure the firing pin actually protrude outside of the bolt face in the front. And now you need to put the tiniest firearm parts ever, the tiny retaining pin for the firing pin. And make sure that you really tap it in flush with the bolt, otherwise it will not clear the bolt sleeve. So the bolt will drop back into the receiver. You want the right hand side of the bolt facing up, and this time when you reach the bottom you will turn counterclockwise 90 degrees. And while you're doing so, make sure that the bolt is fully extended before you actually rotate that 90 degree counterclockwise. Make sure that the bolt slides in and out and engage in the the lugs actually engage and rotate the bolt head. Then you can move that sleeve for the clearance to put the operating handle back in. Remember this. Then you can put the trigger group with the two pins. And then in one swift movement, we will put the inertia piece, the buffer plates, the buffer, the spring guides, and the spring in one sweet motion. So I hold the spring guide in one hand, I compress the spring. As I compress it, I insert the spring guide into the gas block, and the other hand here at the receiver. At this point, you'll see that there's a lot of free float in the gas block, and I will add the gas piston. I'll use a little tool to push it to make sure that we are fully engaged with the spring guide. And as you test it, you shouldn't have that much clearance as we had before. Now we're going to put the slide head by simply compressing the spring and pushing it in. Then we can put the gas cap with the gasket. Torque it snug. Next are the slide bar. So you realize on the slide bar you have little notch. Those notch goes up facing the bolt. It helps to have a slight angle, and as you're pushing, you'll see that they will engage with the bolt. And to test it, you just move it back and forth, and you should see the bolt moving. Then you can insert them into the inertia piece, and you do the same on the other side. Then we will reinstall the bolt release. Lift up the spring, drop in the bolt release. Make sure the spring have a good contact with the bolt release, and then you can add the retaining pin here. You can put the far end back in. Come from the top, slide it. Don't force it. Okay, you need to open the bolt. When the bolt is fully open, now you can push it in and clear the swivel stud. And voila, you can test operation, the slides. The bolt slide in and out easily. To test the bolt lock, you need to put the magazine inside. Close it. Triggers fire. Bolt lock's working. Bolt release also working. Thank you so much for watching this video, folks. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.